Yesterday's figures was 356 new cases. Today was 340 something. Boy. They've announced today that Dubbo is going into a 1-week lockdown. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with the there's a few of our kids who don't have transport. They're trying to sort that out in order to get vaccinated. Good catch. Good boy, Batman. I think now that I've got my kids' exams already, I can get stuck back into my own uni work. A little bit behind on watching the content that they've got set up for us. So I might do that when I go upstairs. Good boy. Hey. Yeah, we're almost there, aren't we? Yeah. That's the quietest he's ever been. That was the quietest he's ever been in the truck. Until we got to where I park. But he was silent the whole way from the house to here. I was quite astounded at one point, really. I'm thinking because I've played with him all morning that he's sort of like wasn't so pent up inside. As soon as my wife asked them if they wanted me to take them for a walk, they went nuts in the house. That's expected. Today has turned into a mental health day by the look of it, because I'd gone downstairs to do some work on a mirror that my wife wants me to paint. But he also wanted to play, and then just sitting on that seat in the backyard, talking to my wife about, unfortunately, the latest news conference with all the latest figures. Remember months ago when I was saying I'm really looking forward to not having to talk about COVID? And I mean, I don't have to, but it's keeping us in our houses away from work, and it's spreading like crazy. Yesterday's figures, like most of the time I was giving you figures that was for Sydney, but because it's starting to spread, yesterday's figures for the state were 390. And the Premier said yesterday, I wholly expect these numbers to climb. There's been a lot more tests. In the last 24 hours, there was 130,000 tests in the state, and they found 466 new cases in the state. 20 odd were out in the Dubbo area. That's getting ridiculous the way it's spreading out. Apparently Melbourne had a sudden flood of like 21 new cases overnight, and theirs were dropping. The biggest areas of concern, they said, for the last 24 hours was Blacktown, Doonside, Mount Druitt. Now they're the areas surrounding my school. Vaccination programs continuing today. They're meant to be doing a massive amount of vaccinations of tradies tomorrow, so the construction can get back. But I mean, you've still got to wait. That's the thing, you've got to wait. There has been a really good turnout of HSC students coming forth to get vaccinated because they want to get out of home. They want to make sure they can do their exams. And their exams are mid-October, I think. They get their first jab now. They get their second jab early September. So it means that they should be fully inoculated by the time the exams start, and they've got to go and sit in a giant exam hall at their schools because they still want social distancing in between the tables. And anyway, we'll deal with that when it happens, won't we? Right now we've just got to continue getting the kids through school, and we sent a whole stack of a lot of the staff took photos with messages for the kids, and our head teacher welfare put them together in a slideshow and put them up on our school social media for the kids to see. So I did one of those. I'm going to do them again next weekend, I think. So. Must have wore him out a bit this morning. He's normally pulling a lot more. He's actually just walking today. This has got to be one of our most chilled walks ever, I think. The boys are just cruising along, no sense of rush, just checking out things until they see a bird, because there's a magpie up ahead. That's got their attention. I really wish they wouldn't bark at birds because it stops them from coming in the yard. And Batman chased a bowerbird out of the yard today. It was right down the back and he just sprinted down barking at it. He barks at the slightest sound of a bird too from in the house. It was a wallaby that time. Hey. My wife wants me to give this metal paint it white. So I'm going to take the mirror out, rough up the metal just a little bit so the paint has something to grab, and then see if I can give it a spray with that exterior paint that I've got. Worth a shot. I asked my wife if she wanted a low sheen or a gloss finish on that mirror frame because they're the only two paints I had, and she said low sheen. And then, I didn't have much of that. There's only maybe a third of this bottle in the low sheen. And I remembered that I'd bought a tin of this for doing the deck. And that thing, because it's shellac based, it'll stick to anything. So I've got another spray gun out there and I've given it 3 coats so far because it dries so quick. Just about ready to do the final coat. I'll show you what it looks like with the primer. So that's the parts. Scrolls are always a bugger to try and paint with a brush or sprayer because you miss an angle. or you miss a side, but I've been spraying all around it, so I think I've got it all. And it's almost touch dry. Pretty much touch dry. I'll give it another coat of primer, I think, just to make sure it really sticks to it, because there isn't much paint. Try and get this gun cleaned out while that's drying. Thought I'd do a little bit of a check-in. Sunday arvo, me and the boys out for our walk. We've encountered one couple with a dog and another couple that were jogging. It's not too bad along here. News conference this morning, yesterday's numbers, 415 new cases, 20 something out west, Dubbo area. Because cases were popping up all over the place, as of 12:01 a.m. this morning or something, the whole state's now in a 1-week lockdown. Every school in the state is now under level 4 restrictions, which is what Greater Sydney was. So nobody on site. All kids learning from home, unless they kids who have to go to school because their parents are essential workers, but so the school is meant to be staffed at a bare minimum level, like our school has been for the last 5 weeks. So that's for a week. Blacktown, Marylands, Granville, Mount Druitt, they're still the biggest areas of concern because they've got the highest cases coming up. There's cases all the way out of Walgett. They've detected it in the sewage all the way out at Burke, which is far west New South Wales. Detected in the sewerage out of Wallachia, which serves Warragamba, Silverdale, Wallachia, Mulgoa. So that's sort of southwest of Penrith. And I'm figuring, yep, a lot of people there would work around Penrith, Mount Druitt, that sort of thing. So there's been people who've worked, picked it up somewhere, but haven't shown symptoms, so it's just being found in the sewerage. He's hoping the full lockdown helps to reduce the numbers, because the last 2 days have been in the 400s. Most of last week was in the 300s. So the way it's trending is just going up. Apparently more cases down in Melbourne. Yeah. You see them? Sounds of the bush. I think that came out well. Paints. The paint has adhered to that really well. I think using that Zinza as a primer was the way to go, because it really stuck to the metal and dried really fast, and I was able to get several coats for a good thickness. And then that final coat of just the matte paint came up well.